Tonight's winner of the bull riding, we have Kai Hamilton.
The tall Aussie.
Oh, like CJ coached him too, so we kind of have this. Oh, excuse me, you're on video. This is last night's ride.
Yeah.
Quick on the line, Fred. Pretty quick is what he is. Well done. Las Vegas, come on.
Wow.
Las Vegas.
Why don't you tell us about that a little bit? How did that feel?
It felt pretty good. That was a cool bull, Tim Bridwell's. I got on him earlier this summer and he hit his head on the buck and shoot, so I got a re-ride on him. But no, he's a cool bull. I was looking forward to getting on him.
So you had the opportunity to ride him earlier this summer, and he hit his head on the bucking chute, and then you didn't get to. How bummed were you?
I was really bummed because I was fixing to win the rodeo and nobody else stayed on.
I love that. I love that feeling too. When like sometimes you just show up and you just have that feeling where it's like a knowing of how you're gonna do. So I can't imagine having that knowing after you hear what your draw is, and then not being able to ride him.
So, building on that, yesterday we're there at the convention center, and I was talking to Kai about what he had drawn, and we were going back and forth, and talked to him about that bull, and he said, "Well, I'm gonna win the round tonight. We'll just meet you at South Point tonight." So it was pretty neat because we did get to meet him at South Point last night, and you know, he's been riding really well for a long time. The biggest thing with Kai, and as long as he's healthy, I think he's one of the best bull riders in the world, and he's been healthy this year, and he's #1 in the world.
Well, there's some bull riders, professional bull riders, that have told me that they look at you as the next JB Mooney.
I don't think, I'll never fill them shoes.
Well, we look at it that way, and you may never feel that way, but it's really cool to watch you ride. I want to know, how did you end up with this one? Like, how did you come all the way from Australia to America and have CJ as your coach?
So, I guess through social media, well, and friends, I guess, Brady Gray and Cody Heffernan, I knew them guys from back home. And they were the ones that...
Don't point at me like I dated one of them. Like, that's not what happened.
Cody Heffernan was on the team with you in Tucumcari, so it goes back to our Tucumcari days.
They don't know that.
They don't know that, but...
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time. Stop it.
You were probably in diapers then. You were in diapers then.
No, so through them too, that's how I got to know who CJ was. And then, I mean, we've become Facebook friends, and he was seeing what I was doing back home. And when I came over here, when I was 17, for some youth finals, I went out to Odessa when he was there and got on some bulls and stuff and had a look at the school. And then within the next year, he had me recruited, and then I wound up going to St. Ross where he was.
Oh, you followed him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna make a reference to that college rodeo football coach that ended up changing, and he took his whole team with him. Who was that?
I tried to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what happened.
They wouldn't let me do it. So, but we got him down there as soon as we could. The great thing, I'm gonna share this story on Kai. When he came down there to St. Ross to look at the school, we got him and we stuck him on a horse in the round pen, my Hayes horse in the round pen, set up a couple jumps, had him going around.
Broke horse.
Very broke horse. My mother made the senior world finals on him in the barrel racing. My daughter calls him the backup kids horse.
Backup kids horse.
The bull rider fell off the barrel racing kids horse.
Yes.
Is that where you're going?
Just making sure.
She just totally just told the punchline.
Just wanted to make sure.
In his defense, I did turn him back, and he didn't have anything on him. He was riding him bareback, and I kind of stepped in front of him, and he turned back like a horse is supposed to in the round pen. But I didn't let Kai know I was going to do it.
I wasn't paying attention.
I I feel like that may have been the start of your professional career. Like, I'm so embarrassed in this moment that I will never let this happen again. I am never going to get bucked off ever again, especially of a kid's horse.
I don't think the
Oh, you didn't get bucked off.
The horse didn't buck.
No, I
You
fell
just
off.
fell off. I love that.
We had some pretty good times down there at Sol Ross when Kai was down there. I think one of the funniest ones, there was a day he was getting on and it was his birthday. And he got on a bull. All the kids on the team knew that they were going to shap him when he got off this bull, but they didn't tell him. He had no idea.
They were going to do what?
Shap him.
What's that mean?
Like get shaps and hold
Shap?
him. Yeah, and hold him down.
Like beat him?
Yes.
With the shaft?
Yes.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
spanking for your
I just
birthday.
went,
So he
it's
gets
like
off his
rushing
bull
for
and-
college.
Yeah, he gets off
We
his
had American things.
You got rushed.
he gets off his bull and the bull goes out of the arena and they go out and tackle him and they're sitting there and they're shapping him, and when he gets aggravated, his voice gets really, really high. He's like, "This is so bullshit."
I have nothing. I got nothing.
I'm not coming on this show ever again.
Stop it, CJ. No. Don't worry, we won't embarrass you every time that you're up here. Not every time.
Oh no.
I
So,
have a
so the
question.
great thing, what do you got tonight?
MAGA, a bull of honeycuts. He's bugged me off this year, but
Like the kids' horse? Or like bucked you off? Like you
No.
fell off? Or
well,
Just curious.
in all honesty, if I wanted to ride him, I would have, but yeah, I'd let him have me.
Yeah. No, it's all in the mindset, right? So what is your mindset going into tonight?
Well, it pays a lot better here, so I'm gonna just stay on him.
You're trying a little harder this time?
Yeah.
So, coming to the NFR, I should have asked all these people here, there's a lot of expectations on you. What is the toughest thing about competing at the NFR for 10 days in a row?
I feel like I had this conversation with Donnie Gay last night or the night before, and he said, like, if you can stay yourself the whole time and not get caught up in everything and just be you, I think that's the key. And that's what I've tried doing this whole time I've been here, is doing what Kai likes to do when Kai likes to do it, and just being myself. And I think that keeps all the distractions at bay.
You're starting to talk about yourself in third person.
Oh.
That's fine.
You know, that's really good advice because, you know, I've been here and I've had difficult finals and okay finals. I'm still waiting for that great finals. But I definitely turn into 7 different Sydneys during the NFR. So it's great that you're just Kai. Like just Ken, like the song from the Barbie movie. Like, I'm just Ken, I'm just Kai.
Can somebody make that song play tonight during the round? Just asking for a friend. Can you do that?
You should sing
I'm sure
it.
I could talk. I could call some people. We'll get that done.
So moving forward for the rest of the finals, 6 more rounds. Where are you going to be in 6 rounds?
I'm gonna just take it one bull at a time and do my job.
I love that. Definitely stay in the moment, right? And my dad always said, well, I'm not like as successful as you, so like I always go back to like my golden days, which was Calgary, and we won every round there, which would be like if you won, you know, every round here. But what my dad was saying throughout the competition was, don't get too high and don't get too low. Just stay Ken or Kai.
Yeah.
So going back to what he just said, Tiff and I have talked about this before. Sometimes they do listen to me because I text Kai all the time, just do your job. That's my advice to him all the time. That's been my advice to Sydney before. When we're practicing, whether it's at the rodeo arena in Alpine, Texas, or Tucumcari, or whether he's here, his job is the same thing. His job is to go out and ride bulls. Her job is to go out and make the best run possible. If you go out and execute and do your job, it's going to take care of itself. So I'm really glad to hear that he's just going to go out and do his job, because I know what he's capable of when he does his job.
Yeah.
I actually, when I started doing clinics, my first clinics, which were okay, they're better now, I had t-shirts made, and I really resonated with that just do your job that CJ taught us throughout college, and that's what they said. They're, you know, in order to ride fearless, you just do your job, and nothing more, and nothing less, and just let it happen. Yeah.
So yesterday, when we ran into Kai, he was heading over to the Resistol booth to get his hat cleaned and kind of redone because after his bull ride, he threw his hat. Did you go get it cleaned again today?
No, not yet. It might get one more hat toss and then I'll go get it cleaned.
Okay, so tomorrow you go get it cleaned again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We actually have a really cool guest I'd love for you to stay on stage with because he's probably just gonna like, I don't know, fanboy on you. But he's been to the junior NFR here and he did really well. He won the short go yesterday. And I can't wait for him to just talk to you about his ride and for you guys just to mingle. Like that'll be cool, right, to watch that? So let's bring to the stage Kaysen Chafflin. What's up? What's up? He's been doing great. Don't turn your back to the world champ. What are you doing? We have some really cool videos coming up of him pretty soon, but Kaysen, tell us a little bit like what you're here for, what you've been competing at all week.
Well, we're competing for the world title for like the 12 to 13 junior bull riding championship, so it's a cool thing.
It's all right.
Kai and him were actually back there watching his ride from yesterday because you were 88 points yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And Kai was there and actually saw the ride and stuff, so it was pretty neat. I actually went over there because I was recruiting yesterday.
Oh, you guys are buddies.
And yeah, we were.
Well, that made me look dumb. Like the way I announced him, well, I was like, oh, he's gonna fanboy over you. He's like, no, actually, he's like my brother. Like it's fine. We practice every day. Tell us about your ride while it's happening.
Well, he's a young bull, so I was kind of trying to get out of there a little fast, and he's only had a couple outs, so I was really excited though, because every time he's right there away from my hand, that's kind of how I like him, so it's gonna be perfect. I was kind of scared to get off. I got off bad, and he was mean.
Oh, you're worried about your get off. Kai, are you worried about your get off?
Yeah.
You are. Oh, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I was excited.
What'd you think about his ride right there?
That was a good ride. That was a little bull. Them little bulls that are real quick like that, they're kind of hard to keep a hold of, and the middle's not very big on them, so you got to stay small and try and keep them underneath you. That was a good ride.
What does that mean? The middle is not very big, keep small. None of us know what you're talking about. We don't know bulls.
Them smaller bulls, like their backs are only so wide, like you haven't got much room for air. It's like riding a fence, pretty much. Like you shift your weight, it's going either way right away. Whether them wider backed bulls, you got a little more seat to, you can kind of move over, shift your weight around a little more and not end up too far on one side right away. So them little bulls are a lot trickier, especially when you got long
They're
legs.
a lot easier to ride when they're bigger too.
Yeah, you got a little more to hold on to.
So this is a pretty tough bull that you won the round on last night.
Kind of, my burro barely fit him too, so he was really super small.
Well, maybe you need to get a bigger bull rub, right?
I gotta get a smaller one for those ones that
Small.
are that small.
She's the one that was married to a PBR guy. I'm over here trying to catch up.
We're not going to talk about those days.
Yeah, it's exes. We don't talk about exes. Exes from Texas. And I want to see, like, apparently you guys are homies. So what does this look like when you guys, go back and forth about your rides?
Super cool. It's kind of a goal to be making it to the NFR one day, and that young too, to win all that money. It's a real goal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Them guys get to come out here and ride during the NFR. Like, that's a good stepping stone.
The junior NFR. Did you do that?
No, I don't know if it was going on when I was
So you're my age.
No. Not that old.
And guess who's not invited back next year?
So you went out, they had a junior finals, we're out in Texas that you went to, because that's
in Abilene, Texas. They had the youth bull riding finals. Yeah.
That's where, when Kai came over, that's when he came and visited us, was when he went over to that. I don't think they had as many events out here in Vegas at the time. I think it's pretty neat to go there. Like yesterday, I went and sat and watched. You get to watch from the little guys all the way up to the kids that we're recruiting now for college next year. I think it's a great opportunity to see how they handle pressure and some of them see their attitude and stuff, because there's a lot of them that don't have very good attitudes, and there's some of them that are there's a lot to work with there as well.
Yeah, it's a big deal in your coaching program is the attitude. Like we weren't allowed to do anything. I went from a super like laxed family to CJ as my rodeo coach, and I'm like, I'm really confused. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's strict.
You must have been misbehaving a lot more than I did.
No, you're Australian. There's no possible way that's true.
I was the golden student, just ask him.
Lies. That's the one that's the worst. That's what they say. That's how you know. I have a question. Can I?
No.
Okay, good. Who is your biggest influencer or influence?
That's riding
Not
right now?
because, yeah.
Or
You don't
like-
have to say him because he's sitting here, but if he really is, that's
In
cool.
Buren or?
Don't
Yeah.
be afraid to humble him.
Yeah.
I kind of like watching a lot of the older Burens, so I'd say
Like
that
whom?
probably Terry on West, because the way
Yeah.
he rode bulls, he rode really good.
Who else?
Probably JB Mooney too, because of everything he's won, everything he's accomplished, and Mike White, he rode bulls really good too, and Chris Shivers, because he was smaller, and
He is very small.
he rode bulls perfect too, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, not all the time, but most
When
of
you
the
say
time.
perfect, you mean perfect form or like
Perfect form, perfect. There's a lot that goes into it other than form, like confidence-wise, and there's a lot. You gotta ride with your legs a lot too. It's not just upper body; it takes lower body strength too.
Yeah, you gotta show for your feet, right?
Yeah.
What about you?
Same deal, the older generation, Troy Dunn and JB Mooney. I mean, their mentality, Tal Friedman, the way them guys went about it, like they were cowboys about it, and they were going to show up and win at all costs.
You know what I think is really cool, CJ, is watching, the athletes up here today, and especially the ones that you have coached. We didn't get to see Tristan today, but we get to see Kai, and they have so much confidence, and you have so much confidence. But good. It's not an arrogant thing. It's very much like, I know what I'm doing. This is my job, and I'm going to go play. You know what I mean? And when you said that you're looking for upcoming athletes and you're watching how they can overcome those pressure situations, is this kind of what you're looking for?
I want to say the confidence, but I think a lot of the confidence, like I know with Kai, a lot of the confidence has come from the work he knows he's put in. Because it hasn't always come easy for Kai. There's been days where I've watched him struggle, and he's put in more work in the weight room, on practice bowls. He probably got on as many practice bowls as anybody I've had in my program in a long time, since probably
He
Cody
wanted
Heffernan.
it.
He wanted it, but the confidence comes from knowing that you've put in the work, so that when you get there, you know you've done the work, you know you've done the preparation. You were the same way in the goat tying and the barrel racing. You knew when you got there that you had done the work, your horse was working good, and you were ready to win because you'd outworked everybody. And I feel like that's the same way with Kai, and I see that with a lot of the kids that do really well. The confidence comes from just flat working,
Knowing that
outworking
you're
people.
prepared.
Yeah, knowing that you're prepared.
I love that you said that, because it was actually my exact mindset, what you just said. And it was that if I'm prepared and I do all the work in the practice pen, when I get there I can relax and just let the cards fall where they will. But give yourself the opportunity to win, but not necessarily have to force it, because you are prepared.
Well, I know I'm gonna probably tell a little story on Kai here. Was it your freshman year? He came in. He's tall and he's skinny, and he went to the gym and he basically rebuilt his body. He went in and he did core stuff. He did stuff with boxing and martial arts and stuff to get the body control and stuff that he needed to make the rides like we're watching now. A lot of people aren't willing to do that, and he would go to the gym and be there at 5:30 in the morning and go and do all that work. And then the gym owner still talks about him, about how he worked on his flexibility, how he would work on the strength and conditioning. If you want to be great, that's what you've got to do. You've got to be willing to do the work that everybody else isn't. And Kai and Tristan, he's not here today, but they're both testaments to that, because that's what they did to get to a place like this and to be on this level.
Yeah, it makes you stay healthy. You know what it takes to be a champion, and I highly doubt you do understand the concept behind all the people that you've affected on your way. Because when you're working towards something like a world championship or the NFR or the junior NFR, your mindset is just, you know, doing your job and getting through the day and, you know, doing everything that CJ just said that it takes to be a champion, but you affect the gym owners. You know what I mean? The gym owners and the people watching you, and they do see that. They do see you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that, you know, you might affect future generations forever.
I know you affected other kids we had on our team. Kai still affects kids I've got on my team today because they set the benchmark for where you have to be at this level. So now I've got kids coming in and they're like, well, what did Kai do when he was here? And I tell them, well, he went to the gym, he did CrossFit, he did this. First thing they do is they go sign up for CrossFit and stuff, and they're trying to get to the level he's at by what he did. So he's setting the example for him, just like people set the example for him.
Yeah. Who are those people that set the example for you? Like, why would you start doing CrossFit and working out and doing, like, what drove you to do all of that?
Troy Dunn, probably. Well, my dad, when I told my dad I wanted to ride bulls, he told me, if you're going to do it, you're going to be in 110% or we're not doing it. Like, it's not a sport you can do half-hearted because you'll get hurt. And so Dad, and then Troy, he only lived like 45 minutes away from me, and he's a big advocate for putting in the work, and that guy was a machine. He was one of the fittest, strongest guys you'd ever meet, and he put in the work, and he come over here and won world titles. So I mean, to have that guy pretty much at your doorstep, like CJ said, he pretty much set the bar for me, and I asked him what he did to win a world title, so that's where that come from. And and then being around JB, I mean, being around them guys and getting to know what they did and what it took for them to win world titles, I mean, you get that information and you take it and run with it.
I love that. I love that. And no matter what, you are a world champion, no matter what, to us and from everyone from the outside looking in, because you're doing what it takes to be one, whether or not the cards lay out for you. When are you signing up for CrossFit?
Whenever I make it to college rodeo.
What? No, you can do that now. What? Yeah. There we go.
Okay, Tiff says now,
Yeah.
and when Tiff says something, she means it, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Now.
So when I get you in college, I don't have to start and retrain you.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu is good too.
I know how to do
Jiu-jitsu
boxing.
react.
Jiu-jitsu.
You ride your speed.
Total gym, yeah.
Total
Gym. We joke about it now, and I've kind of learned the lesson from Kai, and we share it with all of our kids now, is we tell them every day in practice, there's no excuse to get outworked in practice. If you let somebody outwork you in practice, that was a choice you made
And
that
that's
day.
embarrassing. Is that a thing?
That's the thing. Like, if it's a bulldogger and they get outworked in practice, that was a choice they made that day. If you got outworked tying goats that day, that was a choice you made that day. And you can only have so many of those days before you can't catch the people that are outworking you.
Yeah, well, if somebody is out tying me, like just a faster, a faster person that just had a better day, that's one thing. But outworking
you,
I
yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah, that's one thing, and that's the thing with both Kai and Tristan when they were at school. There were days I had to tell them, guys, the bulls have had enough. So we went through a lot of bulls when they were there at school, because they would ride so many, and when I say ride so many, they wouldn't get bucked off of them, and my bulls would quit bucking, and I couldn't get guys to send me bulls because they knew I had those two guys there, and they like to send us young bulls. They don't want to send young bulls and have their confidence taken away from them by guys that ride them all the time. So it would actually made it really tough for a while there to get bulls, because I had guys like Kai and Tristan that they would outwork everybody every single day. And we had a couple other bull riders there that we would stick on those bulls, because we would basically build the bulls' confidence back up with those guys.
Travis must have gone.
Yeah.
True.
Go ahead, do it. Say it.
No, they were good bulls.
They were good. They were okay.
Clifford is still recovering from you guys torturing him.
Yeah, well, I had to ride him in my tennis shoes, so that I had a little bit of a challenge.
Who shows up without boots?
No, he would purposely get on him in tennis shoes because so he wouldn't rely on his spurs, because they would ride everything so easily that made it more difficult to ride him getting on those spurs.
Sock in my mouth.
Yeah.
See, if somebody shows up without boots in the barrel racing, I send them home.
Thank you.
What has been your most memorable bull ride? Sorry.
couldn't think of one off the top of my head. The one that comes to mind, when I won Cheyenne in 21, it was the first year JB was rodeoing, and I remember they loaded all the bulls, and we were standing back there in the alleyway, and JB just come up to me and he said, you know, you only get one shot at this whole bull riding deal and it doesn't last very long. And he said, so don't be a bitch, go win.
That's exactly something he would say.
My God.
100%.
It was so funny. This bull bucked round left, and at one point, you can freeze frame it in the video. He's got like both my feet blown back to his flank, and the first thing that came to mind at that point was, don't be a bitch. And I rode him, so.
So Kai, before his first NFR, he actually called me, and he was nervous. And he was nervous because he was the first one in carrying the flag during the grand entry. And during the rehearsal, I believe it was Junior came up to you and said, don't screw up, because if you screw up, we're all screwing up. And so he was more nervous about carrying the flag at his first NFR in the grand entry than he was getting on his first bull.
Yeah.
Was it a kid's barrel horse?
No.
Okay, good.
I wish it was.
Would have been better if it was Cisco.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I feel like the most dangerous. I know it's not an event of the NFR, but it is the most dangerous event during the NFR is that grand entry.
Yeah, that's.
Good luck tonight in that.
That's the only part I get nervous for. I'm like, if I can make it through that, I'm doing good.
I'm just glad he hasn't shown up in a pirate outfit in the grand entry.
No comment on that one. That's because you didn't coach that guy.
No. I'm going to brag on Kai.
Maybe if he did, that kid would have stayed on and he wouldn't have lost the bet in the first round.
Exactly. Don't make bets in Vegas, right? Before you have to compete at the NFR.
Our bull riders from Sul Ross have won the first round at the NFR for 3 years in a row now, though. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, good job, CJ. I'm pretty sure you just jinxed that. Why would you say that out loud?
No, that's I got a year now.
That's something you say when you retire.
3 years in a row.
You're fine. Kaysen, are you competing again this week?
No, yesterday was the last round, the short round, so there's no more events. We're going home tonight.
You're going home the champion.
Oh, the short round champion.
Yeah, that's the only round that matters. I don't know what everybody else has told you, but pretty sure we know that's the last round is always the round that matters.
Yeah, that's when the judges score the highest too.
That's when you go home. Yeah, I mean you go home a winner no matter what. Like you feel good about it.
Yeah.
You're ready for next year.
Yes, very ready.
I'm so excited. What are your plans for next year?
Just since I'm going to start getting a little older, I'm going to start getting on some more better bulls and then kind of get seasoned because I moved up this year. So next year will be hopefully more of a breeze than this year was.
Cool. CrossFit?
Yeah. I guess
Or CJ has bulls apparently that are easy to ride. So.
Or horses that, you can fall off of.
We'll put you on the backup kid's horse.
No, I'm good.
Well, I can't wait to watch you come up in the ranks, and I'm excited to have you here next year as the Junior World Champion.
Thank you. We're going to try real hard. Huh?
Thank you. Thanks for coming. You did so great.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm glad to meet you. You're actually really cool. And you have, I don't know about this one because, well, what? Well, the other kids are cool too. The other kids have been cool. But you have that type of energy about you, and I've talked to a lot of champions on this stage, and you guys have the same mindset.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks, Kai. I can't wait to watch you tonight.
Thank you.
See how it all plays out.
On MAGA, right?
Make
I'm
America
feathered.
great
No.
again.
I'm feathered. Yeah, thank you guys for coming so much, and give a big round of applause for all of our guests tonight. And I hope that this entire show has been intriguing for you guys and helped you figure out how to go home and ride fearless.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. We want to give you an update on tomorrow. And because they're going to have that makeup round at Thomas and Mack tomorrow at 10 a.m., we've decided that a lot of our guests were steer wrestlers tomorrow, and so they're not going to be able to be here because of the timing. And so we've decided to turn this into a watch party tomorrow starting at 10 o'clock. So if you're here at the Rio tomorrow, come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a watch party going on from 10 to 12 right here on this stage. We'll be watching